I lost him, and I miss him terribly. WC and I had 4 children, all daughters. Emil and Mary were twins, and we lost them at a very early age. Florence and Martha Jane were the lights of our lives. Let me tell you just a bit about my beloved husband. He would have preferred to have worked with no pay than to have been idle. When he was 21 years old, he was elected to be county assessor in Washington County, and he also did the auditor's job. At the end of 3 years, he completed his politics, and the point was done with politics. He bought a sawmill, a grain mill, very, very successful. He bought several more to great success. He even went out and bought some farms. He very much enjoyed farming. At the beginning of the Civil War, he was the most successful grain dealer in the state of Indiana. He purchased many things for the government. He invested heavily in government bonds. And he even paid a special income tax of $15,000. At the end of the war, or very close to it, one of his grain mills was held for ransom by John Hunt Morgan. That is when he moved to New Albany. He purchased land along the banks of the Ohio River, and he started a plate glass company. Many others had been tried all around to no success. But the DePauw American Plate Glass Company was hugely successful, sprawling out on the banks of the Ohio River in New Albany's West End. He made plate glass, window glass, jars, and bottles. He also purchased a woolen mill, ironworks. Altogether, he brought in about $250,000 in assets to the city of New Albany and unlimited credit. Many people have told me that my husband could take a business that was floundering or dying and turn it into a profit-making business. He had a talent for this. WC could have gone back into politics at any time. He could have run for governor. He was even nominated for lieutenant governor, and he declined. I remember well what he always said when they would come and ask him. I have nor will or plans for politics. No indication at all for politics. I instead have full-time work endeavoring with the assessments and assisting in the educational, religious, and benevolent interest of the state of Indiana. That is the W C DePauw that I am so proud of. We planned a trip to Europe for an ecumenical conference that he wanted to go to. Before we left, he decided to make a will. He left a large set of his estate to be given to an area to establish a university after his death that would be named DePauw University. While we were gone, word got out about this. We received letters, more letters from the faculty and trustees of Indiana Asbury asking to please allow them to put his name on their institution while he was still alive. He always replied the same thing. We sent replies from London, Cairo, Switzerland. It was always the same. It is my belief that a man's name ought not be placed on an institution until he has crowned his life by dying well. We returned from Europe. A committee from Indiana Asbury met with my husband. They presented a proposal that he could agree to. This was a good thing He loved going to Greencastle to watch this university being built. He loved being a part of this. While once there was a brick wall put up, he didn't think it was where it should be. He had it torn down. It cost him $1,000, but that brick wall was where he wanted it. He had 6 houses built just for families who were coming from long distances to enroll their son or daughter at the college. That is when Indiana Asbury became DePauw University. WC and I were members of Kinsley Mission right here in New Albany, Indiana. 400 members strong. Biggest in the state of Indiana. In March of 1883, it burned to the ground. My husband had a new church built and gave it to Indiana Conference free of charge, debt-free. On the morning before the dedication of the new church, our youngest daughter, Jenny, died. A light in our life went out that day. She was our ray of sunshine. As we buried her that afternoon on November 20th, she was only 13. But we knew that she had touched many lives. She left sunshine everywhere she went. We were still grief-stricken. The next morning, with heavy hearts, we went to the dedication of the new church. Bishop Thomas Bowman stood and declared the new church would be named the Fannie DePauw Memorial Methodist Church. That shows you the amount of love and esteem that Indiana Conference, the citizens of New Albany, and the state of Indiana had for my beloved husband. We never forgot that day. That was 3 years ago that I lost Jenny. Now I've lost WC. He was on a business trip to Chicago. He boarded the train, the Monon train, to come home when he suffered a stroke. He was taken back to the Palmer House, where he died that day, May 5th of this year. As the train returned his body to New Albany, it stopped at Greencastle, where members and faculty boarded to give resolutions of respect. It has been told to me that my husband's funeral was the largest in the state of Indiana. Bishop Thomas Bowman conducted the service. He is now Chancellor at DePauw University. As we bore the body out to be placed on the hearse, the honor guard and cadets from DePauw University fired their salute and led a procession which included a band, 200 members of the DePauw Plate Glass Company, the employees, 250 citizens who had traveled from Greencastle, 1,500 citizens from New Albany, various Masonic sororities and fraternities. As we went past on our way to Fairview, thousands lined the street, and all the church bells tolled. When we arrived here in Fairview, the procession was still leaving our house a mile away. Florence and I will endeavor to continue my husband's beneficent activities. He firmly believed that his wealth was a gift from God, to spend it wisely, to invest it, and to help all in need. I believe the title of his favorite hymn probably describes my husband better than I can. It is, that is one more day of God's work, one less day of life for me.